Well, good afternoon. It is Thursday at 1 o'clock. This is Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and we're going to have us a little tutorial. So I'm going to just get this kind of straightened up because apparently it's kind of out of wackadoodle. Let's just fix this. Maybe we could actually just turn the camera. Hello. All right, now let me double check that we're actually transmitting over here off to the side. I think we are, but one never really knows when technology is involved. Oh, I see a picture. That's a good sign. That's a very good sign. All right. Yes, we are making video. I've made video. Hello, Patricia. Hi, Rosie. Appreciate y'all joining. You know what? I'm going to try to pick up my little chair here right quick. I've got an old chair that I think somebody gave us. And you know, so once you have an old chair that was free, you always keep the free chair, right? You never get rid of the free chair, even if it keeps dropping you down to the, well, it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to be sitting like a little kid at the dinner table. All right, we're going to make us a Christmas card today. Hi, Bree. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lenny. Appreciate y'all joining. I have a very pretty set. This is my first time inking it. It is called His Love. And it is a straight up Christian stamp set with Christian Christian sentiments and images, and it is gorgeous. I really, really like it. And I combined it with the prized peony set and some beautiful Peony Garden DSP, which I know you might be surprised to hear it is actually on the sale. So you can now get a whole pack of this paper for just $9.78 through the end of October. So I hope you will stock up. Hi, Faye. Appreciate you joining. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I've done some pre-cutting. I have left my little fussy cutting to do, so we'll have to do that, but hopefully I can get it done relatively quickly. Let's see what we've got for cardstock and DSP cuts here. Hopefully I've remembered to cut everything. I've got my envelope, and then I'm using Petal Pink as my matting, because Petal Pink, Gray Granite, and Basic Gray are the three colors that coordinate with the Peony Garden DSP. So I really like Gray Granite. It's just a little bit softer gray than the Basic Gray is. So it's a nice touch to put. So that's going to be our inner liner. All right, let's go ahead. I picked some coordinating DSPs to use. Hey, Jenny, appreciate you joining. Hi, Mary, from windy and cold Minnesota. You can have it. We're going to be almost to 80 today, but the humidity's down, so it's actually pretty pleasant. I've got windows and doors open, and that's nice. So I'm going to mat this first piece on Petal Pink, and I said that like maybe there'd be other matting colors, but there won't. All the mats are Petal Pink, and so I don't know why I said it like that. Mea culpas. All right. So what I tried to do, even though I was mixing relatively busy designer papers, is I tried to keep I did keep them all they're all in the same color family. But you see how this one, to me, this one reads as almost neutral, almost not a pattern. So I felt pretty safe in doing that. That's my story, and I am sticking to it. All right, and then we'll have another little piece. You can see it's actually the reverse design on that same piece of paper. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can make it sort of straight, huh? Hi, Faith. Appreciate you joining. Okay, and then I'm going to use more liquid glue and adhere this to the card front. And I'm pushing it right up to the edge of the card front, which is actually kind of nice because you can use that edge to be sure you're straight, right? And you can also see if you're following along and thinking you might case it, I've cheated it up towards the top of the panel just a little bit. Okay, and then I took yet another design. Yes, I went crazy. I just went crazy with this paper. And I cut a couple of strips, and I am going to mat them on Petal Pink as well. Let me show you something here. Can you see this edge right here is butted right, the edge of this DSP strip is butted right up to the edge of its mat. So I cut my normal 1/8 inch longer. So as an example, This DSP strip is 3.5. So to make it the correct distance for me, the correct length, I made this 3 5/8. But that's actually going to be a little too long because I don't have that edge on both ends. Did that even make sense? So if I was going to mat this regular, like I normally do, it would look like that, and you can see it's correct. But my plan is to mat it, butt it up against there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere it to the mat, and then I'm just going to eyeball trim a little bit less. So it's going to be like, instead of 3 5/8, it's going to be like 3 4 8, like, I don't know, something 5/8, a half, and a 16th. So yeah, see what I'm saying? Does that even, is that making sense, or did I just make you all scratch your head and go, say, what is she talking about? What is she even talking about? I don't even know. Yeah, I did. I guess I did. Actually, I didn't do much. I just had a lot pre-cut. Okay, so I'm lining the left edge up against the end of the mat, like that. I'm going to just push it up just a little bit to get it on the end. And then I'm taking my snips. Where's Daryl? I don't know. I think he's working, or he's taking care of his dad. I'm not real sure. He'll be on. I'll bet he'll be on. And then I'm just going to trim that off just so that that border looks about the same as these borders. Okay, so it's not that hypercritical that it be perfect, but you know, you kind of want it to be, well, if you can get it perfect like I just did, then you'll be great. But no, you don't have to make it perfect. And this is the exact same concept. It's just the smaller piece, okay? So we'll do it again. We're going to adhere this with liquid glue, and I'm going to butt one end up to the edge of the mat, like that. Oops. And then I wonkied it out of place right as I put it down. Okay. And then you can see this little border right here is obviously way too big, so I'm just going to trim it down like so. Okay, easy and also peasy. Now we'll take some more liquid glue and adhere these to our card front. Hey Linda, appreciate you joining. Ahanali, is that correct? Did I say that right? Ahanali? I hope. That's a very beautiful name. I like it. All right, and I know you were worried about whether I liked your name. Okay. All right, when you adhere these, make sure that you put the butted up end against the edge of the card base, okay? And I liked it to go a little bit right to the card front edge, like so. Okay, and then we'll do the second piece. And then we'll get busy with a little bit of fussy cutting. I know. It's so scary. And we're going to butt that right up against there as well. Okay, just like that. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Now, the pretty cross in the His Love set, what I did is I inked it in Versamark, stamped it on Whisper White, sprinkled gold embossing powder over it, and then embossed it with my heat tool on high. Okay, so let's go ahead and fussy cut that. And when I'm fussy cutting this one, I'm doing a like a die cut fussy cut. So in Mary's land, that's the term I'm using for leaving a little bit of an edge, a little white edge around the edge of the design. You could also do a hard fussy cut where you're actually cutting right on the outline, but I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm going to leave my little bitty border, and we're just going to go around. It's a pretty straightforward image, not very difficult at all. So even non-fussy cutters, this would be a really good image to practice your fussy cutting skills on. And I've said it before, but in case you happen to be new, the way to get successful fussy cutting is, one, to take your time, don't get in a big old hurry. Do you see that I am holding my scissors still and moving the paper to to make the turns, okay? So instead of going like this, I'm moving the paper. The final tip, well, actually maybe there's two, is you want to push your paper right up as far as you can into the fulcrum of the two blades, all right? When you're cutting out here, it makes it really hard to make good cuts. But when you cut like this, you can turn and make the cuts smoother, all right? So those are my big old tips. Another tip is to not quit partway through, but you just have to fix it. Okay. And sometimes on a really small image, I will take these fingers and push them against the other hand so that I've got everything steadied. But this is just a little bigger than makes that easy. Thanks, Faith. I try. I have to say, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm having to move my fussy cutting away from my eyeballs because that's where it comes into focus. My glasses are designed for far distance, and even I've got no line bifocals. Yeah, the bifocal piece is not right either for this particular task. So I'm having to do naked eyeballs and extend my arms to where everything comes into focus. Ah, the joys of encroaching age. It's just one of those things they don't tell you about when you're young. You know, like much of anything under the age of 30. All right, so we're just going to continue around here. I bet, are some of you thinking, why in the world didn't she pre-cut this? She did all the easy pre-cuts, but she left the darn tedious fussy cutting so that it looks like we're watching cement dry. The good news is once I get this done, it's just going to go together so fast you're going to be amazed and mystified. And of course, you know, you could not fussy cut this if you wanted. You could probably emboss this on a piece of white and then use maybe a stitched shapes rectangle or a stitched rectangle die just bigger than the image to cut it out, and then you would just have a slightly different look on your card, but it would be the same kind of idea. So consider that if you really, really, really hate to fussy cut. Okay, but I just liked how this ended up looking. So there you go. That is why I did it like this. So you guys all taking a hard look at the DSP sale. It's such a good sale. I can't believe there's 15 really cool papers on it. That is awesome sauce. Okay, there we go. And we'll just kind of straighten him out. Now, I also pre-cut a stitched shaped circle. It is the next to smallest of the stitched shapes circles. FYI, that's very hard to say fast. Stitched shaped circles. It's hard to say fast. I dare you to try. All right, so I'm going to get my sentiment out. An oval would be good as well. Please emboss it again for a very metallic look and feel. Please emboss it again. Thank you. It is a pretty it is a pretty image in embossing. It definitely is. Okay. Now. Oh, I sort of lost track of my brain right there for just a second, because that happens, in case you didn't know it. Hey, Linda, yes, welcome to retirement. So it's probably a good thing we retire when we do, because, you know, we can't see after that. Anyway, okay, I've got gray granite, and I'm just going to stamp the His Love Never Fails image sentiment on this Whisper White circle. And the nice thing about a circle is it doesn't really matter which way is up once you get it stamped, because you can make it be which way is up. All right, and I'm just holding so that I get a good image, and I did, because every now and then a blind squirrel finds a nut. Okay, now I'm going to adhere my cross to my sentiment with liquid glue, and then I'm going to use that whole piece to adhere it to the card front with Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, so we're going to put this on. We just want it adhered to the sentiment without covering up the sentiment, like that. Right, and I'll set that aside for a second. Now, I've got one of my favorite embellishments ever, the gold hoop embellishments. Who knew that this would be such a hit for me? I really, truly did not, but it is. Okay, and then I'm going to take my, oh, you know what I didn't cut was a card front. What a dork. Okay, well, I'll have to get one of those in a minute. I'm going to just kind of lay it out to see how I want it to be. I've got it a little bit crooked. There we go. All right. And I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to put the cross and the sentiment on. But first I'm going to use some glue dots to adhere my gold hoop. So I'm just going to pick the sentiment up, and then I'm going to pick up my glue dot and slide it right under there, one of them, and then I'm going to do a second one real close by. Okay. And the glue dots work quite well, just by the way, for the hoops. I'm not liking that is not straight enough to make me happy. There we go, that's better. That'll be fine right there. Okay, now let's put some dimensionals under there. You just found out you're going deaf? Yeah, that happens too. Alright, we'll put some just where I think there's not going to be any hoops. Okay, you don't want a dimensional under the hoop or over the hoop, if that makes sense, right? Alright, so I can put one here. I can put a couple out here on this end of the sentiment, like that. Alright, and then I can put one here. Hi Diana, appreciate you joining. Alrighty. So I've got a fun thing coming. We have a new suite. It's called Curvy Celebrations, and I just did my demonstrator pre-order for it today, so hopefully it will be here tomorrow. I'm going to put one right under there, but towards the bottom, like that. Did I just put one right in the middle of the hoop? Maybe. Maybe. Let me see. Let me see what I've done here. Yep, I did. Okay, so I'm going to move this one aft. I'm going to move it aft a little bit. Maybe. Maybe not. She might get it off of there. There it is. Okay, so we'll put that down there like that, and we're going to call it good. So I'm going to take off my covers and adhere it in. Yes, I did do overnight shipping, mostly because I wanted it before the weekend, right? I mean, otherwise it wasn't going to get here till Monday, so. Okay, all of the covers are off. That was what that little exercise was to get all the covers off. And now we'll stick this on here. And I gotta tell you, I tried to make it so that these cross arms lined up with that, the top of that strip, and that it went straight up and down with the up and down portion of the DSP. That's what I tried to do. And I think I succeeded. Now, I'm going to stick one more dimensional underneath the very tail of the cross. That's T-A-I-L, not the T-A-L-E, obviously, so that it's a little more supported, a little more better. Okay, there we go. Now, just to finish off this card front, I'm using some gold glitter enamel dots, and I'm using these middle-sized ones. These kind of there's four sizes, so I've got the next to smallest size. How about that? And I'm just going to adhere them right like that. In a little line. For those of you who play with Sunday stamps, you might recognize this sketch. That's what it's from. And I gotta tell you, it was absolutely just lucky that I picked gold embossing because when I started this, I first wanted it embossed, and I thought I'll just emboss it in silver because silver makes sense to me with these colors. But then I thought, no, I'm going to use gold. And I'm glad I did, because then I was like, oh, I can use a gold hoop. And oh, I can use the gold glitter enamel dots. So, you know, better to be lucky than good any day, right? All right. We'll set that aside, and then let me show you what the inside looks like. Oh, you are so correct, Faye. We sure do. So this is what the inside looks like, and this is where I pulled some of the prized peony in. Before we get that, though, let me grab my card base. I did not make a card base, so hang on just a second. I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking, I'm hungry, and I need to eat some lunch. That's what I was thinking. So that's what I did, is I might have not been thinking very clearly. Okay. So I'm using a gray granite card base. Oh, let me give a little plug here for my friend Sandra. I was missing, I don't know how many of you are missing the little guidepost thingy doohickeys from your Simply Scored tool. But if you are, like me, you can get some of these from Sandra Hernandez. I think they're 2 for $1. And they come in an assortment of colors. And that's what I asked her for, was just an assortment of colors. Actually, this one, I guess, was more at 4 1/4. So what I thought I would do is keep one at 5 1/2 for my long ways, and one at 4 1/4, unless I was doing something with a fun fold. Okay, there we go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. There was logic. There really was. It was total logic. Okay, now let's go ahead and give this a little boinish. Yeah. So Bree, I'll tag Sandra Hernandez somewhere, and you can touch base with her, because it's just really a pain to not have those sometimes, right? Okay, let's get our second sentiment from his love. Rejoice and be glad. Love that particular sentiment. And we're going to put it right in the middle of our Whisper White in gray granite. Oh, good. And then we're going to put it right in the middle here. And I'm just eyeballing. Remember my tip, the first time you stamp with something, especially the clings where you can't see through it, do it on a piece of scrap paper so that you can see that it lines up. And all I do is I just take and line up one of the straight lines of the sentiment with one of the straight lines of my grid paper. And I know that's pretty darn close, okay? So, that's my tip. That's one of my tips for today, is make sure you know where your cling stamps are going to stamp, because it is totally a factor of how straight the image was etched onto the rubber to start with, and then how good a job you did putting your label on, right? Okay, so hold it a beat or two to get a nice solid image, and that's good. I like it. I like it. Yes, she does, and she is quick. I think that could be that retired Air Force thing. Not sure. Yes, Sandra is in fact retired Air Force, just like I am. Okay, and then I'm going to use this beautiful ruffly peony from Prized Peony, and I'm going to ink it in Petal Pink and then stamp it off once before I stamp over my sentiment. Okay, and this is another spot where you can do a little test. So I've already stamped there, and I'm going to stamp over the top in full strength. And actually, I'm happy with that. My ink pad is dry enough that that's going to be plenty good. And what you're looking for is to be sure that you can read the sentiment, right? So if you have a really juicy ink pad, you may need to stamp off once. Mine isn't juicy enough to do that. So I'm just going to stamp it straight on, straight up. Give it to me straight. All right. Thank you, Bree. She doesn't have a site, but I will send her, I can send her a PM if you want. How did I do that last time? I think I did email. I'm going to post, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will post a just a little blurbage on my blog post, on my Stamps-N-Lingers blog on Facebook. On Facebook, not on my blog. I'll do a post on Facebook on Stamps-N-Lingers, and I will tag Sandra Hernandez. So if you will take a look there, you'll be able to see her and you can PM her and get yourself all hooked up. Okay, so let's see, liquid glue. And we're going to adhere this to our, thank you for your son's service, Mary. Whether you did 3 years or 23 years, service is service. And we should all be a grateful nation. Okay, so we're going to put that on there. And then we'll adhere it to the inside of our gray granite card base. And then we're going to put the card front on and make us an envelope, and we will be done-ske. We will be done-ske, done-ske, done-ske. Okay, put some lids on there. Let's pull up our card front and some of our dimensionals. Trying to use up some of these minis. I just seem to have little pads of minis everywhere. And so I'm trying to use them up in a misguided fit of attempting to be more organized. Yeah, you know, that's like, I make that resolution about once a week, and it's almost universally unsuccessful. All right. Wow, you guys are quite the military family, Mary. Thank you. That's awesome. That is awesome. I saw a question out on Facebook the other day. Do people think that everybody should be required to serve X number of years in the military as youth, like in some other countries? And I have mixed feelings about that. I do believe that the military is very good for people. It really is. It can actually help straighten kids out. Help them find themselves a little bit, get a little bit of a better sense of who they are. At the same time, though, I don't know that it's really the military's job to straighten kids out. So, like I said, I have mixed feelings. Okay, so there is our card. We'll go ahead and decorate our envelope right quick. And I will stop talking about anything remotely political. No, I'm not. I am retired from my non-stamping up things. I'm no longer in the Air Force, and I'm no longer working for the Army as a contractor. So I am full-time Stampin' Up / retiree. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to put this side out on my envelope flap. All right, she says, hoping that she remembers to put the correct side, the side she wanted down. It could happen. I've been known to do it right the first time a couple of times before. Not many, but a few times. Every once in a while. I get it the way I wanted it to be. All right. And we'll just give that a quick fussy cut. I don't even think this should be called fussy cut. This should just be trim the excess. This is not fussy cut. cutting this, the cross qualifies as fussy cutting because you have to turn more than twice. I think there it is. If you have to turn the paper more than twice, then it's fussy cutting. Otherwise, it's just cutting. How about that? I like it. Okay, and there we go. Another beautiful card. Not a Christmas card, any time of the year card, really. And so I hope if this is your bent, that you will consider the His Love stamp set. I really like it. And of course the prized peony is gorgeous. There's no way around that. All right, you guys, I appreciate you spending part of your day with me. Thank you to all who have served or have family that have served. And hopefully I will see you back here on Saturday golly, I almost forgot to put in a plug. Saturday, the 3rd of October, is World Card Making Day. I hope you've seen the link to get into our event page. We're having a day-long event on the Ink and Crew from 9 in the morning until 9 in the evening. We're having live video demonstrations all day long. I'm doing 2. My first one is at, I don't know, 11 maybe? No, 1. And then again at 7. So Saturday's Facebook Live will be on the World Card Making Day Facebook page, not on my Facebook page. So if you want to see me live on Saturday, you'll need to go there. But I hope you'll join. We're having prize patrols and lots of great demonstrations, and people from the team will be posting their pictures. So please find the link on my Facebook page or on my blog post and get signed up so that we can play on Saturday. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good rest of your week, and see you Saturday. Bye-bye.